Hi. What I have here are two Java programs. One on the left-hand side is a server. It's a UDP server. And the program on the right-hand side is a UDP client. And these are being constructed so that the client can actually send a packet of data to the server, and the server is simply going to echo it back. Not very exciting, but technically it's good stuff. And if only because if I send data to the server, then I could modify the server and do whatever processing of the data I want and send a result back to the client. And the server and the client could actually be executing on opposite sides of the world. So what I'm going to do is to first of all run the server, and it's not actually giving me any information whatsoever here, but it could give me a lot of information, like which port it's listening to. Well, it's actually listening on port 7, but I could be told that. It could also indicate what its IP address is. Well, it's actually my the IP address of my machine, um, and the client is actually designed to, as I said, send a packet to the server, and what it's expecting is an echo of the packet I've sent to the server. So let me do that. So I'm going to run the client, and what's going to happen is that this line has just appeared, and whether or not you believe it, the client is ready to accept a line of text, and that's shown in green here, so I don't know whether that's highly visible to you. I'm going to press return, and what's going to happen is that almost immediately at the speed of light I get a message from the server, and it's just echoing what I sent to it. So I think this is a reasonably good demonstration of the principle of UDP, User Datagram Protocol Services. And we're interested in the use of sockets to communicate. And as I shall explain in today's session, a socket simply can be regarded as an object um, which is assigned a particular port to listen to or communicate on, and um, the the socket itself will actually offer methods to enable me to obtain an input stream and an output stream, and you'll find all that in the program. So I'm going to scroll through the program very quickly, and it's uh, it's a bit tricky because DS is actually going to be the name of a UDP socket, and the socket's object offers me a receive method. Here you can see it. And what I'm going to receive is a datagram, and I've created the datagram so it's got some empty space, and I'm specifying the length of the space. So when I do a read on the socket, I'm going to read that much data into this array. So buff has been defined to be an array of 1024 bytes. And what I can do is to do a minimal amount of processing, because I want to convert the data that's been received. First of all, I'm going to display the data received, and here it is. It was displayed. And then convert the line to uppercase. Well, in fact, it's already in uppercase. And then what I do is going to, well, it's a bit more complicated than that, because I've built in a little randomized process to make sure that it's not going to send data back 100% of the time. It's going to send data back at 0.6 times, in other words, 6% of all the information it receives. And I mean, I've got commented these two lines out, but I could actually uh, find out how much data, I could display the amount of data, etc., etc., etc. But what I'm doing is to simply um, to build a new packet for sending back to the client, and that's done by using uh, creating a new datagram packet with all the data that's just been received. So SIN represents the data that's just been received. Specify the length of that, and here in this critical line, I'm sending the line the line of text back suitably converted to the client. So, logically, it's not all that complicated, but there's going to be some unfamiliar bits with you. And it's worth noting that the server is just operating in a while loop, so it's repeatedly waiting to receive some data, then sending it back out to the client again. And to every feature of the server, you can find a corresponding inverse aspect in the client. So I'm sending the server some data, and then waiting to receive it back. So hopefully uh, you'll be struck by the fact that these two programs do actually cooperate, and it's a shame that this server isn't actually operating 3,000 miles away, just to illustrate the technological possibility of this. So I'm going to close that down now.